a new Harry's Farm video, and this one is not going to be actually about the farm. I'm going to be talking about this car. This is the Toyota Landcuiser Commercial, and we normally rock around, as you know, in the 322 Range Rover, but I've had this over the harvest period and just see how we get on with it. Now, if you are a watcher of Harry's Garage, you will know that I had a Landcruiser in, I think it was November, December time, and we did a lot of miles in it. We were in Morocco with it, all sorts of things, and the conclusion was, well, it just felt a bit utilitarian in the market it was operating at £80,000 plus. It was rattly diesel, and then it's got a ladder chassis and things. And that was sort of, I thought, well, it's a good car, but it's a bit rough and ready when you look at the peers it's competing against. We all love Landcruiser for their toughness and robustness. But when I was saying that, I had no idea that Toyota were planning to do a commercial version. And this is what this is. And suddenly I'm thinking, hang on a minute, this might make a bit more sense. So I've quite enjoyed my few weeks with this car. It's a much cheaper version, and obviously being a commercial, it's the price plus VAT. If you're a business owner, you can buy this and claim the VAT back. And the price of this car, £51,729 plus VAT. Now, I checked up what the regular one is, and that's £59,557 plus VAT. So they've stripped about £8,000 out of the regular version. And yeah, how have they done it? Well, I've noticed, we'll have a look inside when we take it for a drive, but the screen is slightly smaller. There is no pano roof that's standard on the UK spec cars, but the big giveaway is when you get to this back. To be a van, they've had to block out the back windows, and they've done it in a slightly peculiar way, in just a bit of tin that's sort of riveted in place. Here you go, it's riveted in there, and they've put tin there, and then they've covered up the electric window switch as well. But there you go, then you get a bulkhead, the rear seats are gone, and there's this flat sort of bed here, loading bay, that's rubber. And if I just, there you go, it's just aluminium there. Yes, the one slight thing about it is there isn't any sort of place to put things like that. That was bits of combine. Combine's like braking, as you know, and that's a bit of the feeder chain. Round the back, one thing I quite like is there's two ways of opening the back. You can sort of go in there if you want, or you do thing here and it always bleeps and up it goes. There you go. And I'm 6'2", and I just clear. There is a little cubby hole at the side there as well, but that's all you get. Other good news, if you look underneath, there is a full-size spare tire on it, which is good news. Now, to me, its closest rival in a funny sort of way is the Toyota HiLux, because would you buy a HiLux or would you get this? And John Walker, who does all the contracting for me, he so happens to have a brand new HiLux as his farm truck, and we actually put them side to side to see the sort of changes. Some things that surprised me, and they share the same engine, but HiLux, if you want the 2.8 version, the same engine as this gets, 204 horsepower, you're paying 39,000 plus VAT, and if you want the hard top on it, that's about £3,000. Tow bars available on this, that's £700. I should have mentioned that, but it's not actually fitted to this car. But driving side by side and poking around them, some of the surprises were HiLux is always two-wheel drive until you switch it into four-wheel drive or low. That's a switch on the dash. This is permanent four-wheel drive. And then you notice that this has coil springs when the HiLux is actually on leaf springs at the back. But then you put them side by side and you notice this is sort of chunkier, much chunkier than the HiLux, and a much more upright screen. It looks more streamlined, the HiLux, but they're quite different to drive, which I'll go in when I take it outside. So that's a quick look around it. The thing you've got to remember with these is they're on coil springs, they're not on air springs, so they ride quite high, and that's why I think the side steps are standard on it to make getting in and out easier, and there's a grab handle here as well. It's a very well thought out vehicle, really. The one thing I did think about the load area, I'd just like some division, some way of keeping things safe rather than have that sort of flat expanse, rubber covered. But other quick things to note, difference with the HiLux, bigger brakes on this one, there's discs at the back, it's drum on the HiLux. I love how Toyota fits 6 studs. That tells me there is serious off-road intent. It's super strong, this car, and just little details like that tell me that this is made for toughness. And it's quite a good design. I think it's chunky looking. It's the bit we love about this car, but it also has a sort of purposeful air about it. Anyway, enough talking around the car. Let's just take it out and I'll give you a better idea how it drives on and off road. I can always struggle with side steps because I'm not used to them, but I suppose they do make getting in and out easier. But quite an upright look to the Landcuiser dash. I'm going to start the engine because it's a bit warm out there. And I was just looking at what they've decontented. As I mentioned, no pano roof, and then this screen here isn't as big as you get on the civilian version, if you like. That's why these are here. I thought it was additional switches, but no, it's a wider screen on the regular version. But all this is sort of the same. I've got heated and ventilated seats. And you don't often get ventilated seats in a commercial, but they're on this one. Yeah, I can feel it, which they always feel slightly strange when you first use it, but work well, air conditioning, etc. You think there's wireless charging there. There is normally, but not so on the commercial, and you don't get a cooler box there, you just get a regular bin. There are all sorts of off-road modes in this thing. You will not get stuck, but we'll discuss that when we get out. And then a busy wheel where you have to go through various things if you want to. Funny enough, yeah, the speed warning is the only one that sort of slightly annoys, and it's a very gentle ping, so I don't tend to turn it off. But that's it. It doesn't seem to have the steering lane departure is not nearly as aggressive as this, which is good news. So you don't actually seem to have to turn it off. And as soon as you put it into drive, it then locks the doors as well. Big mirrors as well, which I really like. Proper mirrors on this thing, blind spot indicators. And yeah, so I'm going to head out of this field and then I'll just do a little bit on the road. But immediately, well, one, the turning circle is better than you expect, just, you know, nipping round there. It's not like a Defender 110 old style at all. It is, yeah, pretty good on that front. I'm going to have to turn the ventilated seats off because they are odd, I find. Nice leather seats as well. So I just feel I'm a bit upmarket in here for a commercial, was my initial thought when I get in, which I suppose you should be at 51,000 plus VAT. But you certainly notice the upgrade if you're normally in a HiLux. This feels very different to a HiLux. Now on road, and now there is no mistaking the grumpy engine. There is just a slight gruffness to it, but again, because this is the commercial version, it almost goes in with the territory. I quite like it. And one thing I've discovered living with it for a few days is you just dead easy just to nip it into sport, and it just feels a bit lively, a bit keener to change down and things. And I could see that might be quite handy when you're towing, because it just enlivens the engine a bit, because it is detriment to this car compared to its rival. You compare it to, well, Defender hardtop, that feels more lively. I suppose the Ineos is another direct rival. It's very similarly priced, but the big difference to me is with the steering on this car. I so much prefer the steering, the general driver feel of this over the Ineos. I keep hearing Ineos are going to change the steering, major change coming, but it never seems to arrive. So we'll watch that space and see if it actually does arrive in the next few months. I have averaged, just looking down, 27 mpg on this car, but I think that's a fair demonstration. If obviously you're doing a lot of off-road, that will suffer. But yeah, slight roll through the corners, but very comfortable on road. That's my main takeaway of this car. It is softly sprung. There's no air springs on this. It's all with regular springs. And there you go. You get that one ping to tell me that there's a speed limit change. And it's not offensive, I think, the level of ping to me. So it's sort of quite useful. And then up here, I'm still in sport, so I put it back to normal. There is also eco. But over these lumps and bumps, I can just feel that live axle sort of shimmering, which is just a characteristic of what they do. So anyway, well, I think I ought to just head out and just try it on the farm, in general farm use on the grass. Now I'm just going to go down in some grass fields. There's no real challenging off-road to be done in August in a drought on our farm, and I don't really like doing mud stuff anyway, but just to give you a little idea of what it's like. Now you don't have that many modes to go through. You've got, as I say, you've got sport, normal and eco just on the drivetrain, but actually, so I was just getting worried at gate posts, as lots of cars do. But down here I've got high four-wheel drive or low range four-wheel drive L4. I really like, I've just got a centre diff lock, press that, job done, rather than like the Ineos faffing around up there with these manual engagements. It's all electronic on here. And I've got DAC and crawl, so I've got a downhill sort of hold function if I press that. I am going to press that because yeah, we've got quite an aggressive slope just here, and I'm just going to take it off there. So that just means I'll take my foot off the pedal. Yeah, I can feel it slowing. And because the grass is quite long, I can't quite, there's a post and there's a certain angle I have to go in. I haven't done it in a while and I can't see where the post is. There it is, there's the post. Right, it's getting very upset because I'm mute. There we are, I just mute on there. So this is very steep down, and we'll just see how that hill hold works as I go over here. Here it is. Right, whoops, I seen the yeah, that's my moisture meter and all the crap in the back. Never mind. Anyway, there you go. It's holding, hill descent. You'd know it if you drive Land Rovers and things like that. And I will now crawl around, and I will. Have I got diff in? I can't remember now. Yes, I'm going to put diff. Right, I've locked the centre diff. I'm now going to see if it'll go back up here. And not many cars do this, so I'll be impressed. And it's not on super aggressive tyres. Here we go. Of course it gets up, it's a Landcruiser. That's tough. I know it never looks tough on camera. That is a significant test for any off-roader, because it's not on aggressive tyres, this car. They look general normal use tyres rather than a proper off-road tyre. But they're tough tyres, but yeah, not full on. And I say, it's very steep here. There aren't many cars that get up here. And you also got to remember there's no adjustment on the ride height on this car. It's fixed because of the coil springs. And they don't, yeah, I like the way I can turn that off. And just tickle it back over again. Here we go, down we go. Everything in the back comes forward. Yeah, it's good. Yeah, you're not going to get stuck in this car. If you're going to get stuck in this, you'll be stuck in anything else as well. I know a lot of it is down to tyres, but yeah, a Landcruiser off-road is just in its element. Straightforward sort of chassis. Yeah, I think the Ineos failed first time, but I hadn't got the diff locks put in properly. That is impressive, but I wouldn't really expect anything less from this car. So yeah, I think the off-roadness is just a given. But yeah, having lived with it, that I have liked it more than I expected. I think it just suits being a commercial, this car, because as I said, as a civilian, it's just a bit rough and ready, especially at £80,000. And although you know the price of this at 51,000 is pretty damn chunky for a farm car, but it'll be other uses it will go for. Anybody who uses it, you know, wants that sort of capacity at the back. I think residuals will be absolutely rock solid. I can see this car been worth near enough what you paid for it after a year's use, and because it's what else are you going to buy? There is Discovery, there is Defender, but somehow they're not viewed as the real tough, the real McCoy. And I suppose the advantage there is you can put back seats in them and slightly cheat the system. Whether there are going to be people offering back seats in this car, I don't know. But as a step up from something like the HiLux, if you have a HiLux with an enclosed rear, well, it's pretty close. It hasn't got the 4 seats, so I suppose it all depends on how much you need that 4 seat capacity. But as a farm truck, it's pretty good, this, isn't it? And it's got extended warranty. I think you get, like, I want to say 10-year warranty. If you have it serviced by a Toyota dealer, you get an extension on your year's warranty. So you get the standard warranty, which I'm guessing is 3 years. But you then get an extension to your warranty each year for a year, each time you get it serviced, up to, I think, 10 years, which is pretty good. And it's a Toyota. So I hope that just gives you an idea what this Landcuiser Commercial is like to live with. I've surprised myself by how much I've liked it, and I hope you like this video. Quick review. If you want to know more about it on road, well, just watch my regular road review on the standard one, which is on Harry's Garage. But yeah, I will be back in a couple of weeks' time with another Harry's Farm video. Hope you enjoyed this one. Keep watching, keep subscribing. Thank you very much for subscribing. More videos coming along very soon.